Howdy y'all, Zach here, just doing a quick live stream. I've been seeing this circulate around the net. WordPress Scripts. It's a super easy way to avoid build tools because they build all of it for you. And I just want to do a quick demo here showing you how easy it is to get up and running and what kind of work it saves you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into local because I've got a site up and running here. I'm going to come into apps, public, content, plugins, and I'm going to make a new theme. So I'm just going to call this demo. And then I'm going to open this up in my code editor. Been using WebStorm a bit more lately, but I'm going to rock VS Code today. So inside of demo, you need to first run npm init. So I'll run npm init, and this will just get your project basically set up. Did I not type that right? I said initty. Demo npm init, and then we need to give it a package name. So I'm just going to call this demo version 1, description, WordPress Scripts demo. Entry point is actually going to be source index.js. So they have standardized this, and I think we could just zcord and hit good on the rest. Okay. So we've now got a package file, and from here we could basically just start running our npm scripts. So this npm install at WordPress Scripts save dev. Copy this, we paste it in, and we run it. So this is going to take a few minutes, so I'll just explain briefly what's going on behind the scenes here. So we have got WordPress installing a bunch of tools like Webpack, ESLint configurations, testing configurations, a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's going to prevent us from having to set up our own Webpack config. Now, if you've taken my course before, you know that, I'll just pull this up real quick, that there's a bit of tooling involved. So historically there is even more. It keeps getting simpler, but we still have needed this Webpack config to basically just get our blocks running. And it's doing a lot more. It's got front-end code running, and it's got CSS processing, which this script is not doing at this time, but it is simplifying getting a basic block up and running. So that's what I want to go over here once we have a second, once it finishes initializing. And I'm just going to start doing some other work while it's finishing up. So I know that I need a main plugin folder file. So I'll just call that plugin. It looks like it's already .php. And I'm just going to copy over basic information for a plugin. That's pretty standard stuff. And we're going to call this WP Scripts demo. We'll take this out, pull that out, and then what do we want to call this? WP Scripts demo. Copy that in case I need it later. Okay, cool. So I've got that basic thing set up, and now it does require a little bit of configuration because basically we have this tests thing, and we could rip that out, but now we have access to start. And we basically just call WordPress Scripts. I'm going to go double check this, that this is correct because I haven't memorized it all yet. Yeah, WP Scripts and run build and start. So these are a ton of the commands. We could copy them all in, but I only want to look at 2 of them at the moment. So it's WP Scripts start, I believe, is that one. Yep, and WP Scripts run build. So I'll grab that, boom. Ruin build, we don't want to do that. We want to run build. Cool. Okay, so now I should basically just be able to kick up npm start and it will go ahead and work. Now it's going to throw an error because it hasn't found the entry point yet. Okay, so the way that they've done this is they have standardized some naming conventions. So we need a source folder and we need an index.js file. And so I'm just going to console log out running, check that. Running. Cool. Okay, so now let's try killing that and running that again. npm start. Cool. So now it has gone ahead and run this. It's also set up a build folder where it's got our index.js, and since we're running in dev mode, I guess, it's got what am I trying to say here? It's got a map of it so that we could see nice formatted stuff. So if I come in, I should have a new plugin here. Let's activate it. Hopefully nothing breaks. And we haven't I don't think, done enough with the PHP yet, so I don't think we're going to see anything here, but just to test this, let's come in, test. I'm wondering, does it already load up? No, it's not loaded my JS yet. Okay, but it is compiling all of it, and that's pretty cool. So now we need to do a couple of things. We've got to register our script so that it will find this so that it can be imported, and then we need to register our block, which will actually take care of the importation. So this is all normal PHP-y kind of stuff, but I'm just gonna run through it real quick. So we'll do something like this in our plugin. Now normally I'd break this up into a bunch of files and namespace it properly, but I'm not going to, actually I will namespace this, so we could just name them simply WP Scripts Demo Plugin Setup. Cool. Okay, so now I could add action and I could hook into init, and we could do namespace dot register scripts. Cool, and then we could come down and create a function called register scripts. Register scripts. And then we need to load in our, we need to basically just call WP register scripts with this new block index file. So we'll do WP register script. We need to give this a unique name. Oh, yeah, single quote. Sorry, I'm used to double everywhere. Okay, cool. So now we could call this WP Scripts Demo JS, something like that. We need our plugin URL. I'm used to doing this another way. Hold on, give me a second here. I have a little helper function I usually use. Gotta copy and paste that. Sorry. Usually use this little guy or gal. Lovely little helper function here. Oh, sorry. So we've got get plugin URL. That should not be causing errors. Oh, because we didn't finish up down here. Okay. So now, let me see, I'm just kind of looking at some example code here so I could get this queued up as quick as possible. You know, and queuing scripts is still something for me I sometimes look up. So plugin URL, and then that should work. Okay, cool. Now I could say where I have this stuff, which is going to be, where is that inside of our, basically our build index file. Okay, so everything up to this point has been normal stuff, but now we see that we're actually pointing our register script to this that WP Scripts automatically set up for us. So that's really cool, and it's helping out with a lot of the heavy lifting there. Then we got to enqueue a few things. We need WP element, or a few dependencies. We've got WP I1, and let's get the components library. Right. We need some basic things like that. There are other ones. There's we need blocks, so we could build an actual block. Okay, and then let's just do blank versioning. No, we could just do time. I usually have some better code. Again, you can check the courses to make some of this better, but I'm just trying to get through this. Okay, so we register a script, which is good, all good. And then we need to register our block. So to do that, we hook into init again. Give ourselves a little bit more room, so we've basically just copy that. Hook into init again, and now we've got register scripts and we've got register blocks. Now I've got a function called register blocks. And inside of here, we just want to run a quick check. I don't know if they're running a super old version of WordPress and they don't have register block type set up. But we do need to just kind of test that that is enabled, and then if it's not enabled, and then if it isn't, we'll return out of there. Okay, so now we can come down and we're just going to set up a single block, but I always like to build this in a way so that we could register multiple blocks. So I like to set up an array and do something like, what do we call this? WP Scripts demo, and then we're going to create a shout out block. So we haven't set this up yet, so it won't work yet, but that's what we want. And then we'll do a quick for each loop, and we'll loop through each of the blocks as a single block. And now we can actually register everything. So let's give ourselves some more room here, and we can call register block type. And we pass it the block, and then we give it a few parameters. And actually, at this time, I'm only concerned with setting up the editor script. So that is going to be this file that we enqueued above WP Scripts demo.js. Okay. So if I did this correctly, now we should be looping everything in. Does a for each loop? No, this needs a semicolon. Okay. All right, so what do we have here? We've enqueued the plugin, or enqueued the JavaScript. We've loaded our blocks. However, we don't have any blocks yet, but let's just see what it does. Maybe it gives us that console log on the page is what I'm hoping. No, it doesn't look like it's giving us any console log, because maybe we need to actually build that block for it to run. That would make sense, right? Yeah, because there's no WP Scripts demo, so it doesn't know what to load. All right. Let's come in now. So I don't know the formal naming convention for all this, but I still am thinking we have a blocks folder inside of our source, and then inside of that we could have our, whoop, what happened here? And then inside of that we could still have our individual block folders, like I'll have a shout out one, and then inside of there an index.js. So we'll just set this up as a normal block, but there is some really cool thing that I'm super excited about with this, and that is that we can now import stuff, because this script is smart enough to figure it out. So we could actually do importing like this, which is great. Now you could do this before in Webpack with externals, but it does it for you. I18N. So this did not work before out of the box, but now we can do it. So we also need register block type that comes from blocks, and we made sure that those were dependencies, so that should be all good. I don't know why my screen is flaking with the coloring, but okay. So now we could just build a block real quick. Export default register block type, and that's going to be, our new block is, what did we call it? Named it right here, WP Scripts demo shoutout. All right, and then we need to do some title for it, and that's going to be underscore underscore shoutout block. And then what did we call this before? I think, was that our name spacing? No, this. I think that's our name spacing. Cool. And then we need a, oh, this needs to be wrapped inside of an object. Cool. Prettier is happening here. There's some updates with Prettier I'm excited to talk about soon too. Not today, but description, and then demo block, you know, keep it super simple. And then we need a category. Let's just call this comment. I'm going to try to make this as like simple as I can. I don't know what other things I actually need for this. It'll give me an icon by default, so I'm just going to do an edit, because this is all I really wanted to demo once this is up and working. Edit me, right? That should be our edit, and then we've got our save, but that is not a semicolon because we're inside an object. Cool. Save me. Okay, let's see if this worked. We need to come into our main index file, and then we need to import. What do we want to import? Go into blocks and get our shoutout block. Okay, so now it should configure, because it goes into source, automatically finds this. We have npm run startup and running, so let's come in and see if we built a block. Let's see. Shoutout, no. Let's see, do we turn on our plugin? Yeah, we got our plugin on. Okay, come into our test. No, it didn't work. Okay. I will have to go back and figure out what is going on that did not work. Let me see, I do have some finished code. Let me see. I'm going to swap out and show you the finished stuff, because it does all work. Okay. Imagine that this is what we did. We've got our blocks, our components. We built a shout out one. I even put in a little editable field to edit all of this stuff. In our package JSON, all we import is scripts, and we've got our npm run start. In our index file for that, we import our blocks. That is our block. We have a register script set up to import our script, and then we register our block just like I showed you before, and we register that block, and then it all builds out into this final index file which gets enqueued. So if I just go back to plugins, again showing you the completed one, I'm not sure what missed from it. That gets added. We come in here, we now have our little shout out block, and we can come in here, edit it, saves, goes on the front end. So this is super cool. The thing I really want to point out here is the React scripts. So you can now run build, start commands that will watch your code. You've got linting, which we'll get into. And basically now we're pretty close to being able to redo my entire Gutenberg course because so much of this stuff can disappear. The other nice thing is that it's also extendable. So if you want to put Sass or you want to put front-end code, you could also use everything that you've learned from this. This will still come in handy because, again, all this does is import one block file for all of your blocks. So if you want front-end stuff, if you want Sass compiled, all that, you're going to have to customize it. But still, to get up and running, it doesn't get simpler than that. So good job to the team. Hope you enjoyed this. I've got a repo here that I will link up. And WordPress Scripts demo, I'll put that in the final video notes so you can check it all out, up and running, a little demo of it. And it's also in the docs now, so in the Gutenberg handbook. I won't pull that up now. They wrote a little tutorial showing through how to do some of this as well. So everything's improving here with Gutenberg. It's getting easier to use, it's getting better documented, everything's getting more accessible, at least in terms of being able to code it. And hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you again soon.